All right, this is an in-service presentation for an electronic filing system for tracking your annual competency and proficiency testing. My name is Angela Brown. I'm an MLT, ASCP certified. The objectives for this in-service are: number one, at the end of this tutorial, a lab technical supervisor will be able to oversee monthly proficiency and annual competency progress of all lab staff with 100% accuracy 100% of the time. Number two, at the end of this tutorial, lab staff will be able to document and recall completed specimen information for attestation statements for monthly proficiency and competency requirements into online workbook. They will be able to plan for upcoming requirements and review for audit as necessary with 100% accuracy 100% of the time. We all know that we have annual competency and proficiency documentation we need to maintain. There are multiple ways and systems that this can happen. We work for a large corporation that sends all of those document papers down the pike. Currently, there are several different types of paperwork being shuffled to move over to a more lean and green electronic style. Therefore, we have not gotten the process in place yet. So there is now an electronic tracking system that was developed for our laboratory to keep track of proficiency testing samples and competency documentation for annual review to meet the needs of staff for regulatory standards. So CLIA 88 competency regulations are listed here. Now, a technical supervisor must maintain and make sure this happens in order to meet regulation. First of all, they would have to do direct observation of routine patient testing performance, patient handling, specimen handling, processing, testing, patient preparation, etc., collection, monitoring the recording and reporting of test results. So how they put them in the computer or put them in the LIS and report. They must also review intermediate test results or worksheets, quality control records, proficiency testing results, and preventative maintenance records to maintain those regulations. Direct observation of performance of instrument maintenance and function checks for making sure our instrumentation is all in line and falls within the functions. Assessment of test performance through testing previously analyzed specimens, internal blind testing samples, or external proficiency testing samples, and also assessment of problem-solving skills. Our laboratory falls under COLA as well, and this is the information for COLA proficiency testing that a technical supervisor must incorporate into their laboratory. So competency assessment is used to confirm that laboratory personnel are adequately performing their laboratory duties. Proficiency testing, or PT, assesses the laboratory's ability to perform accurate and reliable testing by the testing of unknown samples sent to a laboratory by a CMS-approved program. So our background problem. Prior to this new system that was created, staff was spending countless hours sifting through months and months of various instrument printouts, Post-its that they put in their drawer, searching through file folders that were locked in an office for each month of serology testing, looking for a specific test that the tech performed or retesting because they couldn't find it and they needed to show competency in that test. This new process is useful for staff and management while dealing with corporate delays on the new system, putting everything online into annual competency packets. We are several months into the year and we still don't have information on that. Going paperless is a motivating factor for this development to meet the lean and green standards set forth by our company. So there's a solution. An electronic tracking system to document monthly proficiency and annual competency testing was developed, created, and modified as needed. It is placed on our Microsoft Office 365 Teams page. So it's easy accessible, it's a living document, and everyone can access it and enter their values as needed, as appropriate. This new system gives a place to put their name next to the assigned proficiency specimens for the corresponding events that were assigned for each department. And a similar book is also in process for annual competency testing as well. This should be done in the near future. Why did we make this change? We took a needs assessment and it brought a lot of different things to light. Issues that staff encountered with the current record system were they would like to see a new system, as we were getting proficiency and competency paperwork quite late in the year, if at all, or we were having to go back and check several file folders and document on our own paperwork that we did certain testing. They came up with recommendations on how to alleviate this terrible time suckage, all the wasted paper that we were using, and they came up with ideas on how to make a new internal tracking system work best for them and how to make the new changes more digestible for the new staff coming in, as not everyone likes change. This is a high level informed strategy or control that's probably needed for standardization that can cause sometimes insecurities, feeling like a loss of control, pushing other staff that have been there out of their comfort zone, and maybe intimidating to new staff coming in that have never used this system. Current staff really face low tolerance for change at times, with their many years of doing the same work, and increased volumes allow limited time for adapting to learn and practice new processes. So this was a system with new employees, a new person running the API program, and a new technical supervisor recently hired. Training. Staff attended a training session from this in-service, and when using this electronic filing system, they learned how it will benefit them. It comes full circle from when we get API to when we get those competencies that we don't get very often. And I will show you in a minute how that works. This video demonstrates how the documentation is useful to each person as well as the laboratory as a whole for inspections and regulation documentation. So, in light of being at full circle, when there is an inspection and there may be a deficiency somewhere regarding proficiency and competency, admin staff can pull these two records and show for sure that the tech did perform those specific functions and show competency. As you can see, this is the competency documentation book. At the bottom, you can see that there are several, all those sorts of things are different analyzers, point of care things, drug screens, breathalyzers, DOT, drug screens that we need to maintain competency on, blood bank, phlebotomy, QC, even dry ice shipping and such. So in the accession column, they can write the accession number of the test and also the date they did it. There's also room underneath that they can make notes or add another one if they need it for whatever reason. This is the document that is in process. These need updated as well for new systems and new analyzers. So here's our attestation book for API, our proficiency testing program. We have a system where we can order specimens for API in our LIS system, and we name them according to the event and the specimen number. And therefore, you can see at the bottom, there are different events listed down here, and also they are listed here, 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, here are the staff that have filled in this book, and they have put their date and their initials or their first name. Hot wash. So breaking this down, the reason that we did this and why it's important for staff is it empowers the staff, and that's a key component to monitoring changes in the laboratory using this new electronic filing system. Each staff has ownership of their own documentation and allows for ownership and accountability as the workbook is visible by everyone. So whoever's in charge that month or that event can go in, double check, and send out happy mail to encourage those to fill out the book. Each week, we talk about it in our weekly huddle regarding the new system and feedback that is solicited, and everyone's report being pleased with the new system and how useful it is to recall information needed from the document. Success. We do feel like this is a successful program. It will be a living, breathing document, so changes may be needed and done accordingly. So we do feel that it's successful. It's proven a useful tool for organizing each staff member and their responsibilities for annual competencies and proficiency. We've saved many hours of time and many reams of paper by changing this system to work for us. And we look forward to the future of being able to take this information off of these books and put them into the new system coming down from our corporate headquarters. Thank you so much for your time.